July's already been a busy month. And it hasn't even started yet. Johnny Hundley and Jimmy McQueary. They disappeared on October 15, 1964. From Fairfax, Ohio. They were 9-year-old best friends. There have been several theories bandied about. Just an overview of some of the things. Were they killed by the neighborhood teen who confessed to stabbing them only to retract the confession later? I think if a neighborhood kid killed them, you'd find their bodies. So I can rule that one out. Were the 9-year-old best friends killed by a man who buried their bodies under a porch in Massachusetts, as his daughter claimed? Who knows? Did they die accidentally, perhaps falling into one of the many construction digs in the East Side Village 53 years ago? I'm not sure about that. It's the oldest cold case in the memories of the tri-staters, the people in that three-state area. They even looked through freight cars to see if the boys had jumped on the train. Johnny's sister puts it on Facebook, says she puts it on Facebook every year. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. We're all getting old, and we got to know something. If he's dead, then we want to know that. We want closure. About 3:30 in the afternoon, when he got home from school, was the last time she saw him. It sounds like she can still see him walking up the street in a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and gym shoes. Sneakers, in other words. Bonnie was 20 at the time, the oldest of 4 kids. Their father had died a year earlier, and their mother had gone back to work. She was like a mom to him. The police officer now investigating the case was only 14 at the time. We had a lot of construction going on back in '64, especially across the pike, he said. The first theory was that they fell down a manhole, were playing around some digging areas and got covered up by all the dirt. So workers dug up several work sites in a vain search. They actually dug up some of the piping that they put in across the street on Spring Street, thinking they fell down a hole and got covered up with dirt. So they were outdoor kids, he said. They did dig up all the places, which I didn't know. He doesn't believe some dude in a Cadillac abducted the boys. He doesn't think they'd let someone grab them both up, and I agree. If somebody grabs your best friend, you're going to run like hell to get help. Matter of fact, I can tell you a quick story. When we were little kids, we were walking up to our school. Now, nobody should have been on that road, because it was a dead end. It only led to the school. And we're walking up the hill. Somebody comes down the hill, or up, I'm not sure which, and yells, "Get the hell out of here." It was very menacing to us out their car window. We all just looked at each other. It was my cousins, myself, and my best friend from our neighborhood. We all just looked at each other and said, "Book it!" My cousin grabbed my trumpet case, and we just ran, all four of us, as fast as we possibly could. And when we got to the school, we told the teacher that we'd been harassed on the way, and they said, you did the right thing by telling us. So I see these two little boys as a lot like us, even though this was closer to 84 than 64. I see it that way, that they would have booked. I don't know if they called it book it back then, when, run and run now. That's what it means. It was a term we used in the 80s. Like I said, I don't know if kids today know what it means. And I don't know if kids in the 60s used it. So in 2010, they got information that they were abducted and buried in an area that we kind of looked at. Turned out to be false. One of the strangest tips led the officer to Foxborough, Massachusetts. So he sent it off to CODIS, some DNA from the kids. That's how their DNA. So that if unidentified bones are found anywhere, he drove to Foxborough and talked to the woman, and then he went to New Hampshire to interview her mother and siblings. The woman had some psychological problems, he stated. I even interviewed her therapist. She thought she was telling the truth. Her statement was that her father abducted these kids and killed them in the basement and then buried them underneath the porch in Foxborough. They took a cadaver dog. There was just nothing to it. And a 17-year-old Marine private confessed, but he didn't do it. He just wanted to get out of the Marines. His sister believes that he's buried by the old schoolhouse that used to be in them woods that was down there, and she's probably pointing, but the last place they were seen was at a Frisch's Big Boy. Big Boy is a restaurant. If you find old Big Boy figures of the Big Boy holding up his hamburger, they're worth a ton of money today. A lot of them are called Bob's Big Boy. This one was Frisch's Big Boy. We were there. Well, they had cashed in cans, and I believe, they were there to cash in their cans and get hamburgers. So we still truly don't know what happened. There are ideas, but we still truly don't know. So, and we would love to know. We think their families have a right to know exactly what happened to these two children. They were 9 years old, guys, in 1964. That means today, next year will be the 40th anniversary of their disappearance. So they would be no, my math is terrible. 14 was the 50th anniversary. Next year will be the 60th anniversary. So they would be 69 years old today. Well, 68 now, but the anniversary comes around next year. So we need to lay these children to rest. That means his sister, who was 20 years older than him, is 89 years old. She deserves to know, and has every right to know, before she joins him in heaven. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, guys. We can do it. God bless you.